Hey guys, Psychic Pictures here, and welcome back to more Sakura Angels. I think this is going to be the finale, because we're entering the lair of the beast. So, let's go. A familiar voice floats in. Of course. Why wouldn't she be here? Yuzuki. In a flurry of feathers black as the night, she appears beside the crystal, beside her mistress. She clutches her scythe in an overwhelmingly hostile stance, and gives us a violent scowl. It seems even she realizes the severity of the situation. So is that what she was doing? Okay. Now it seems like she wanted the person that is in the crystal not to come out. So she's gonna slay me so that the mistress does not come out. That's what it seems like. あなただって恐ろしいはずだわ。ここがあなたの終わり。あなたにどんなメリットがあるのか知らないけど、妄想は終わりよ。Yuzuki grits her teeth, a bead of sweat creeping across her brow. So she really is scared. 黙れ。何がわかるのか。 Yuzuki, things don't have to end this way. I know you won't believe me, but I really do understand what you're going through. The pain you feel. Maybe we can't... The entire cavern quakes under her rage. Debris rains down from above. This is getting dangerous. My face grows pale as a maddening laugh escapes her lips. How can she say something so twisted? I really did try, but maybe her sanity is too far gone. I can't give up so easily. One more try. Maybe I'll get through to her. I know you're not a bad person, Yuzuki. Just lonely, right? 寂しくなんかない。 Sayaka looks solemnly towards the Dark Angel. She's right. I give Yuzuki a proper look over for the first time since we arrived here. Her face is crooked, her expression unhinged. Every once in a while, her head gives off a twitch as she clenches the scythe tightly. Oop, hold on. Oops. There we go. She seems even worse than she did before. Maybe the darkness has fully eaten away at her? Does the old Yuzuki even exist? I have to admit it. We can't save her. I let out a heavy sigh. Okay, you guys do what you have to do. Sayaka and Hikari nod. They understand this is going to be a fight with consequences. There's no running away. Each side has too much at stake right now. Yuzuki grunts, and a dark aura begins to set in around her. This is new.
ながる。私の中に彼女を感じるわ。私は負けない。彼女がいる限りね。
She lets out another crazed laugh as the cavern gives a violent rumble. I don't think this is all talk. Sayaka and Hikari might really have their work cut out here.
さあ、死ね。
Yuzuki closes the distance between us in the blink of an eye and heaves her scythe up high. I can't tell if she's aiming for me specifically or hoping to catch us all in a single crushing blow. Sayaka tugs at my arm and pulls me away, with Hikari jumping to the opposite side. The ground where I was standing just moments ago is shattered. Only a crater and the smoldering of dark magic remaining in the wake of her scythe. Unreal. If Sayaka hadn't reacted in time, I shudder to think. Yuzuki sets her sights on me again, lifting the deadly scythe up for another attack. I wonder if the other girls are even registering in her crazed eyes right now. I must be the top priority. If she gets me, she wins. She attempts to kick off from the ground, but Hikari bursts from the side and catches her off guard, locking blades with her. The pair grit teeth as they push against one another, the magic practically crackling around them in a fierce storm. Yuzuki must be stronger than ever right now, yet Hikari seems to be able to stand her ground. Her feet sinking slightly into the ground as the pressure pushes her against her. She must be pushing well past her limits to even be able to stand a chance against this monster. I can already see the strain it must be putting on her body as sweat takes over her face. She hisses through gritted teeth, her feet beginning to slip. Her voice booms and the magic around her violently crackles. I've never seen her like this before. I give her a worried look, but Sayaka tugs on my arm once more and urges me towards the crystal. Even Sayaka doesn't sound so sure of that herself. I just have to trust in Hikari and end this before she slips up. I nod and we hurry even closer to the center of all this chaos. I can still hear the clash of magic behind me, along with pained cries. I can't look back now. She'll be fine. We're almost there. Just a few more steps closer and... Oh, that was Sayaka saying that. Sayaka preps her bow and shoots a sharp look towards the rocks shattered around in the distance. Huh? What do you mean? Oh! Hello! Harsh, guttural growls fill the air. Several of those demonic, almost dog-like looking shadows I've encountered before make their presence known, and several more. They circle us and block off the crystal completely. Great. We end up back to back as we face off against the ever-enclosed circle of shadows. Their fangs are bared, and there's nothing but hate for us in those burning eyes of theirs. I should have known things weren't going to be this easy. Of course, she wasn't going to just rely on Yuzuki to defend her. Any ideas? I think we know we're done for when we have her to rely on me for ideas. Please tell me you're joking. The monsters close in. They're acting like an intelligent pack of sorts, ensuring there's no escape for their prey. There's a glimmering light as Sayaka's bow fades out of view, and I feel something begin to form on her back. Ah, the wings! Of course! We could just fly out of this. As much as I hate flying, I'm willing to make an exception this one time. I take a solid grip of both Sayaka's hands, and she kicks off the ground, right as the shadows around us decide to make their move. It's a close call. I just about feel the snarling heat from one of the savage beast's growls as we lift into what little vertical space we have in the cave. We sail through the air, our goal in sight. Okay, I think we might actually make it this time. Sayaka lets out a pained gasp, and our momentum grinds to a halt. Her grip loosens considerably on one of my hands. Sayaka! She forces out an awkward laugh as we begin to wobble in the air, her grip on my other hand also slipping. I throw a glance down to see the snapping pack of savage monsters almost right on our heels. Things are looking bleak. Sayaka debates something as we sink even lower to our demise. No! We're so close! Her voice is pained, weak. That little nick must hurt more than she's letting on. Sayaka, what are you saying? What? A burst of energy detonates at my back, almost like a gust of wind. It splits me from Sayaka's hold and sends me hurtling towards the crystal where she lies. Sayaka must have known she wouldn't be able to carry me here, so she boosted me across with magic? But then, what happened to her? Oof! I land with a gentle thud at the foot of the crystal. It seems her magic was even set to cushion my fall. Sayaka. I throw a glance over my shoulder. She isn't in the air anymore. And right below her was... No! I refuse to believe it. She'll be fine. I just need to end this. Now! I turn back to face the crystal with more determination than ever. They're both out there risking their lives for me. I can't let them down. I stare down the crystal and try my best to ignore the headache that thumps like a jackhammer. Naturally, it's the most intense it's ever been. But I can't let the pain get to me. This is nothing. I can just about make out a human-like form embedded within the crystal, though I can't make out any discerning features. You. This is all your fault. Because of you, Sayaka and Hikari are hurt. It's unforgivable. I hold up my right hand and pull back my sleeve. Drawn on the back of my hand is a supposedly mystic symbol. Something that Sayaka and Hikari had scribbled on the night previous. They said this should help in drawing out my power that might lie dormant in me. If I'm inexperienced enough to not be in full control of it myself. It's sort of like a siphon that can bring up magic with ease. I give my hand a flex, and the symbol glows. Okay, so far so good. Now I just have to... I steady my nerves. I'm not sure what's going to happen when I do this, but I have to be prepared. I can't stand around and hesitate forever, though. Not with everything going on around me. Sayaka, Hikari, I can do this. I thrust my hand out and make contact with the crystal. There's an immediate response as a violent current jolts through me. That's fine, though. It was to be expected. No problem. It hurts, but I felt worse. Is this the best you've got? I press my hand in deeper into the crystal's surface. The pain gradually grows stronger, and a terrified shriek floods my ears. And it's not from any of the girls in the cavern. It's from her. She knows what's about to happen. Well, she can cry all she wants. It's not gonna change a damn thing. Amidst all this chaos, I need to clear my mind. Filter out all the noise. A near impossible task with the current state of things, but I have to try. From what I was told, magic is controlled mostly through thought. Spells need to be envisioned, created within the mind. Apparently, those with vivid imaginations are often the kind that excel with this sort of thing. I'm not sure if I've been much of a creative type, but there's a first for everything. I need to envision a prison, a closed-off space, something unbreakable, closed off from the outside world. Something so secure that this will never happen again. And then I bind that prison, just like my ancestors did before me, with my own soul. I have to tie myself to all this, and remain the only key capable of unlocking it. I'm not sure if it's working, but the pain is rising, and each passing moment I spend connected to this thing. I feel faint. I might pass out at any moment, but I have to stand strong. I grit my teeth and let out a pained groan. Why isn't this working? Am I not imagining the spell correctly? I was sure I had it down perfectly. I continued to repeat the process, my strength sapping rapidly as I struggled to keep upright. It's no use. This is completely futile. No matter how hard I try, nothing seems to change. Maybe I lack the magical capacity, just as I feared? Damn it! In a fit of rage, I clench my free hand into a fist and give the accursed crystal a good punch. It responds in turn, and lets out one final jolt of magic through my body before the pain dies down. And as does the screaming. The resealing has been completed. You're kidding me. All I had to do was punch the damn thing? I don't... Wait. I remember now. From what I was taught that night. While most magic could be done with just the dormant hand, in some cases, like the sealing, the other hand was required to complete the circuit and let the magic properly flow. How on earth did I forget something as simple as that at such a crucial time? I'm such an idiot. I almost feel like laughing. In fact, having perhaps finally lost it after all the things I've been subjected to in the recent days, I let out a feeble laugh as I topple over backwards, the strength draining from me completely. As darkness takes over, I pass out, at least safe in the knowledge that I did it. I actually won. Here I am, back in my dreams. And there's nothing here. She's gone. For the good this time, I hope. Maybe now I can start to have more normal dreams. And start to live out a more normal life again. I roam the vast void with nothing to fear this time. Peace. At last. I slowly come to my senses. I'm on a cold, rough, uneven surface. Stones scattered as I try to move my legs. Where am I? I squint through a harsh light to try to make sense of things. A cheerful voice chirps, rousing me to my senses. That could be none other than... Sayaka? I mutter her name, as it seems too good to be true. She's kneeling over me, offering a helping hand with the sweetest smile I've ever seen. Things were looking bleak back then, but I never should have doubted she wouldn't pull through. I'm so happy she's okay that I just about fight back the urge to cry. Sayaka, Did I... She beams as she takes hold of my limp hand and gently props me up to a sitting position. Wait, you were worried about me? I thought for sure those monsters were... I couldn't even see you! Sayaka. She scrubs at the back of her hand and gives me the same goofy grin. This girl. I really was worried about you. If anything happened to you, I don't know what I would have... It seems words aren't getting through to her, so... I wrap my arms around her and pull her into a tight embrace. It isn't enough just to be able to see her again. I wanted to make sure she was really there. I'm glad you're okay. She seems to be at a loss for words, as her arms hang limply by her sides. She's really making this awkward for me. She brings her arms up and returns the hug, squeezing me in a similarly tight embrace. Maybe too tight. She stifles a giggle as she nestles into my shoulder. Wait, there's a point. I pull back from the hug. Hikari! Is she okay? Sayaka tilts her head, looking confused for a moment. And? Yuzuki? She musters up a little smile, which instills some sort of hope in me. I do as instructed and follow along, almost hand in hand before we come to our senses. Hikari is standing guard, her sword dormant as she keeps a sharp end pointed firmly at a very tattered Yuzuki. While unconscious, it doesn't look like Yuzuki is badly hurt. She's breathing steadily, and I don't see too much damage beyond the cosmetic stuff. Yep, she seems fine. There isn't a scratch on her, and she's as lively as ever. Sayaka hides nothing and grins sheepishly, rocking on her heels as she does so. Hikari furrows her brow, the faintest traces of anger visible across her forehead. I think she pieced it together. Yuzuki begins to stir from her slumber, forcing the attention on her as Sayaka and Hikari stand ready for the worst. Wow, that's a very tattered costume. She winces and gives us all an intense look over. Slowly, she comes to the realization of what has happened.
私の負けね。
そうみたいね。
彼女は言ってしまった。私の女王は存在を感じられない。
She seems a lot more subdued now. Madness is gone, and in its place, all I can see is a sad girl. One that was misguided.
欲しかったのに。もうちょっとだったのに。
She thumps a feeble fist against the floor. There's no strength left at all.
で、勝って満足。
ちょっと、あなたの命を救ってあげたのよ。感謝しなさい。あなたにもし力が残っていたら真っ二つにするところだわ。
そうしてくれればよかったのに。もう生きてる理由もない。もう終わりよ。
Don't say that. I can't stand aside any longer while she puts herself down like this. I push past Sayaka and Hikari to face her. Yuzuki meets me with some surprise in her eyes, but it quickly turns to the same look of defeat she had a moment ago.
なぜ？本当のことでしょ。私は一人でいたくなかったから彼女に全てを捧げることにした。彼女は私が聞きたかったことを話してくれた。もし私が彼女を助けていればみんなが私に従っていたわ。
はあ？バカバカしいにも程があるわ。
バカバカしいなんて分かってるわ。私はただ友達が欲しかっただけなんだもの。何かに取りつかれてるみたいだった。自分がしてることに疑問さえ抱かないで。普通なら思いもよらないことでもしていたわ。
So she isn't a bad person, just misguided, and did the wrong things for an innocent enough goal. I can't help but feel sorry for her, for things to have ended up this way.
目的がなくなった今、どうして生きる必要がある？もうダメよ。
なるほど、なるほど。
Sayaka cups her hand to her chin and nods to herself, as if intensely thinking about what she's been told.
この状況を解決するすごく簡単な方法がある。本当に？うん。
Let me guess. Sayaka bounces forward and extends a hand to Yuzuki, a blinding smile upon her face.
私たち友達になろう。
Yep, kinda figured. Yuzuki is taken aback by the sudden gesture, but not as much as Hikari.
私たちが？もちろん、あなた悪い人には見えないもん。ちょっと間違えちゃっただけでね。彼女は私たちを殺そうとしたのよ。どうして悪い人間じゃないなんて。そんなのは昔のこと。光だって何度も私を殺そうとしてるじゃない。
That is true, Hikari has tried to kill Sayaka in the past.
私をからかってる。
違う。私も健太も光だってあなたと友達になれて嬉しいの。ね？
Sure. I have no problems with that.
私はまだ。
Sayaka twists her head to meet Hikari in the most unnatural fashion, her smile widening. It's like something out of a horror movie.
分かったわよ。
あなたたち。
Yuzuki doesn't know how to process this. Her face flickers through a range of emotions before she settles on a smile, the faint trace of tears bubbling up in the corners of her eyes.
私にはそんな価値がない。どうして優しくするの？
ね、友達にふさわしいもふさわしくないもないの。そんなこと誰も気にしてないよ。友達はね、ただ友達だってだけ。
I'm not really sure if we should be fully overlooking the fact that she was that twisted dark angel before, but Sayaka still has a good point.
さあ、こんな洞窟にはおさらばして過去が置いてっちゃおう。他のみんなは知らないけど、私はもうタクタなの。
And so, after perhaps the most dramatic moments of my life, we all exit the cave, with the hope that we never have to return. The long-lost evil was put back in its place, and we made a new friend today. All in all, I'd say it's been a fairly eventful day. Thankfully, thanks to Yuzuki, we find an alternative way out of the cave that didn't involve squeezing ourselves into an impossibly small tunnel. I'm not sure I could have made the journey back if that were the case. I can actually think clearly now. My headaches are gone. For good, I hope. We emerge back into the forest. The warm, vibrant rays of the sun, a welcome, changing after being in that cave for so long. Sayaka bounds out a few steps to take ahead to take in the crisp air. Hikari and Yuzuki are trailing behind, seemingly still not comfortable with one another. I guess they always had the biggest rivalry during their encounters.
思ってたより早く片付いたね。今日はまだまだあるよ。
She continues to radiate optimism as she takes in the sights. But I can't shake the one question that has been on my mind since we started this whole crusade. What happens now? I mean, didn't we just fix the one reason you guys needed to be here? It seems she realized what I mean, as her smile shrinks. And it seems like that reaction answered my question for me.
そうだね。ええ、ここでの仕事は終わったわね。
They both give me solemn looks. I knew it. I didn't want to accept it, but I knew this was going to happen.
待って、どこかへ行っちゃうの？
誰がいなくなるって？まあ、ここにいる理由はなくなっちゃうけどね。でも、私たちはここで休暇を取らなくちゃね。ね？あれ？休暇？そんなものが私たちに。
That smile, that look. It cuts Hikari off mid-sentence as she changes her mind about things. I think I'm quickly learning who is the boss in this group.
そうね。休暇は取るべきね。ほら、お別れなんて心配しなくていいな。まだいてほしいでしょ。もっと一緒にいたいもんね。やりたいこともまだまだたくさんあるし。
She trails off into a list of things she wants to do as Hikari struggles to come to terms with their impromptu holiday. I'm guessing whichever top-secret magic organization they belong to isn't going to be happy with when they learn about this. Still, I'm somewhat relieved that they'll be sticking around a bit longer, even if only for a while. While things have certainly been crazy these past few days, I definitely can't say I hated all of it. The parts where things were trying to kill me are bad, but I really had a lot of fun. I never really had much of a social life these days, so all these experiences had been pretty new to me in more than one way. They haven't just been my guardian angels, they've also been my friends. Damn good ones at that. Okay, so Sayaka's jokes can be much, and Hikari can be a little bossy at times, but that adds to their charm. They pulled me into a completely new and unknown world when we first met, and I might have been just a tiny bit reluctant at first about accepting things. I wouldn't change any of these experiences for the world, though. I feel they've helped shape me into a better person, pulled me out of whatever shell I might have been hiding away in these past years. I can't help but smile as my guardians break into an argument once more. I'm not even sure what started it this time. I need to make sure I enjoy the little time I have left with them before they leave, probably for good. It's a bit depressing to know that this won't last forever, but then that's just all the more incentive to make this time count and create as many happy memories as possible.
今度こそ死なす。まあまあ、落ち着いて。冗談だって。ケンタ助けて。
なんてバカばっかりなの。
Yep, happy memories. I wake up feeling better than ever. No headaches, no feeling of having dreamt something terrible. Just bliss. It's been about a week now since we resealed the Dark Queen, and true to their word, Sayaka and Hikari have stuck around. They continue to go to school and continue to hang out, making the most of the time we have. They still insist on camping outside, though. There was really no need for that, since there haven't been any more monster attacks. Maybe they've just gotten used to it. Or they're just as stubborn as ever. I don't know. I guess it's not that bad. I'm just surprised they haven't been caught yet. And when the time comes, I'm going to say I told them so. There's a knock at my door. I wonder who it is.
もう着替え終わってる？出ないと恥ずかしいことになっちゃうぞーって。
Saying that, and giving me no time to react, she swings the door open and dances into my room. She looks almost disappointed with the results and lets out a sigh. Good morning, Sayaka. I finished doing my tie. Unfortunately for her, I am, in fact, fully dressed. Something of a rarity at this time of the morning, but I've learned to be wary with her on the prowl.
おはよう。慌てるところを見るのが楽しみなのに。あれ？もう分かっちゃってる？
Maybe.
次は窓から入った方がいいかな。
Please don't. Sayaka breaks into hysterics before she begins to poke about my room. Lately, she's been making it a habit to get me up in the mornings. I can't tell you how scared I was the first time to wake up with her peering over with that same grin. She says it's because she wants to make sure I'm up on time for school, but I'm sure there must be other reasons behind it. In fact, I feel like we've grown a lot closer since the events in that cave. She's always been really friendly and affectionate, sure, but there's definitely been an increase in said friendliness and affection. At lunchtimes, she always grabs me by the hand and drags me to the cafeteria whether I like it or not. And during our walks home, I can't help but feel like she's making a courteous effort to make us outpace Hikari. Maybe I'm just imagining things. I don't know. All I know is... Hey? Who said you could touch that? She pokes at my laptop, something she's always had her eye on every time she's been in here.
ただ見たかっただけ。僕の少年は何を隠してるんだろうってね。
Right? But we're going to be late for school if you mess around.
じゃあ早くしないとね。
Oh gosh!
この重要な学校の書類かな。それともこっちのパスワードのかかった。
Sayaka!
冗談だって。電源も入れてないってば。
She swivels the laptop around my way with a grin. It's green, indeed blank. Oh!
ナイスなリアクションいただきました。そういうフォルダが本当にあるのかな。
It's not classified as lying if I don't say anything. I meet her head with a blank stare. Head on with a blank stare. She opens her mouth to say something, no doubt to tease me further.
ちょっと何してるのよ。遅れるわよ。
Hikari saves the day, her commanding voice enough to sound up the stairs and into my room.
この話は別の日にしようね。そう簡単には逃がさないんだから。
Saying that, she bounds on out and down the stairs. I think she leapt the entire flight of them in one go. I follow shortly after. I'm met by two additional house guests. Hikari and Yuzuki stand in the dining room at an awkward distance from each other, still yet to fully become friends. Much like Sayaka and Hikari, Yuzuki apparently has no qualms with breaking into my house while I sleep to wait for me to get up. When I think about it this way, it's a bit worrying. I'll just do the smart thing and ignore it. Good morning, guys.
やってきたわね。二人で何してたわけ？あら？知りたい？私たち聞きたくないわ。どうせいかがわしいことしかしてないでしょうし。
Hey now, why am I getting lumped in with her? I'm an innocent, pure-hearted boy.
あらまあ、残念。
おはよう、ケンタ。
Yuzuki greets me quietly, a faint smile on her face. Since we started hanging out, it's been a gradual process of her opening up more to us. She's still pretty quiet most of the time, and won't dive into many conversations, but I think she enjoys our company. It must be tough for her to adjust to things after she's finally obtained the friends she desired for all these years. I'm sure it won't be long until she's out of her shell with Sayaka and Hikari at the helm, though. They seem to be able to bring out the best in people. I greet her back with a nod of my head, but my eyes are quickly fixed to Sayaka, who is heading somewhere dangerous.
さあ、ご飯食べないとね。
Oh no, you don't! She stops in her tracks inches from the kitchen.
ちょっとだけ。
Nope.
わかったって。何度やったか。
You did, and I admire you for that, but that's not happening. Ever again.
そんなにひどくなかったじゃない。
I sidle past her and enter the kitchen myself. She gives me the usual pout, but, like always, it soon melts away, and her smile returns.
ねえ、見てるだけならいい？勉強すれば良くなると思うんだ。
She gives me a look that's impossible to say no to. Damn it! Fine. Just don't touch anything.
やった！
She watches over my shoulder, literally. Her head is resting on my shoulder. It makes it a bit more difficult to do things, but honestly, it's not bad.
おいしい。
Sayaka lets out a content sigh, having devoured her meal in record time. I'm not even sure she has any time to taste with how fast she wolfs this stuff down.
ほんと、とても美味しいわ。
誰かさんが台所で邪魔をしてたからかしら。気をつけて。嫉妬が表に出ちゃってる。黙りなさい。そんなわけない。とにかく早くしないと学校に遅れるわよ。あら、光がそんなに学校へ行きたがるなんて。
Hikari storms out the front door, leaving the rest of us to scramble for our bags and shoes. Maybe one day I'll finally understand her.
冒険が待ってるよ。
Sakura extends me a hand as Zuki shuffles on by. I wouldn't really call the test we have today an adventure.
テストなんてあるの？
Well, yeah. It's been mentioned every day this week. Don't tell me you... Hopeless. I can't help but smile.
大丈夫。答えがわからなかったら前を覗き込むから。とりあえず行こう。
Ah, great. She takes a firm hold of my hand and begins to drag me out of the house. Sayaka! Wait! I don't even have shoes on!
早く。
And that seems to be the end of Sakura Angels. Yeah, that was the end of it. So, we have 2 locked images, though. Ah, I think I know what those are. Okay, so we had an alternative where we could actually get this image. If we went to the roof, I think we would get this image. And at the beach, if we went and picked Hikari, I think this image is where Hikari actually goes and offers her handout to us instead. That's what I think, at least. So, we actually got done with Sakura Angels in this episode. I know it was really long. A really long episode, I mean. But overall, I think Sakura Angels is a very good visual novel. It did lack the visual novel-esque style that I liked so much of influencing the story in the past two or 3 episodes. But I still think this is worth getting. I really like this visual novel. And it does a great job with even action scenes. It actually did very good with action scenes as well. But it's on Steam for, if I remember correctly, $9.99. And it's obviously gonna go on sale, because it's Steam. It's gonna go on sale. But with that out of the way, we've resealed the Dark Queen and gained a new friend in Yuzuki. Nothing more for us to have in Sakura Angels. This has been Psychic Pictures, and I'll see you guys next time. Next week, we will be going back to If My Heart Had Wings. See you then.